witch huts are meh. You know, they're small, they're sort of underrated, there's no loot in them, and, you know, they're not even in the slash locate. They're not even in slash locate, which is, yeah, it made this witch hut really hard to find, first off, and they're not even classified as a real structure. The, well, I'm sure they are, but they're tiny. They're like this small structure in Minecraft. Apart from the desert well, which I will upgrade if you guys like this video a lot. Anyways, today it's Halloween, and for that occasion, I'm going to be upgrading this witch hut so that it's a better witch hut than it currently is. So let's start right off. I think I'm going to want this to be quite tall, crooked, as in leaning to one side, and I'm not going to want it, like the base, to be a lot bigger than this. Maybe two or one or two more blocks in each direction, but not a lot more. I've expanded and sort of built up the first layer. Now, as you can see when I play how I place these, I want this to be sort of crooked, you know, leaning to one side. Um, Also, the roof is no longer 2 blocks high, because that's really short. But I do want to keep the sort of like small feel to it, so I made it only half a block taller. It just gives a little bit more space for the head, but I don't want it to feel like a huge building, because that's not what I'm going for, because I do want to keep the overall feel and way that this witch hut was made. Yeah, I like this. Okay, I like this. I like this. I like this. I'm gonna go with this. Sort of a roundish interior. That looks cool. The only thing we're gonna use to actually light this build up, I think, are going to be lanterns. Because to be honest, I feel like not enough structures in Minecraft are using lanterns, because lanterns are really cool. I really like lanterns. And I think the only structure that really uses these is the Bastion Remnant. So I want to use some lanterns as lighting for this. And I have sort of made a base area over here, because the idea is that you'll go through the swamp by boat. Made a sort of area that comes out a bit here, but I did sort of want to give it a rundown feel. So we've got some vines here, and some posts. Now this post is on purposely missing, and I have set the random tick speed to 0, so these vines won't spread, and that makes it a really cool decoration we can use. The largest part of the exterior has actually been finished. I can do a quick fly around for you. Then I'll explain a bit and things like that. So here, this top layer, this is the top layer. It's sort of gotten scaffolding there. So I've got an overhang. It's sort of hanging over, and the entire thing is sort of crooked, leaning to the left, but that top part is leaning to the right, and it's actually right above the bottom floor as well. Now, of course, this also is not the final roof. I want the roof to be sort of shaped like, you know, one of those witches' hats, and then it's gonna go like that over in this direction. It's gonna be a very crooked roof. Anyways, and of course we are not done with the detailing at all yet. Need to add a lot more vines. As you can see, I have been doing some of the windows on the exterior. So this window has been boarded up with one of these fences. And this is a balcony over here on the top floor. So yeah, and this one, all the windows on this floor actually have one of those little things above it, which I think is pretty cool. And now, of course, we do need to add a lot more details. I sort of already been doing that on this bottom floor. I added in some mushroom blocks to detail the floor. I'm not entirely sure if I want to stick with that. Anyway, you might also notice these ladders, which is going to be the way to get up from floor to floor, because I thought it would take up too much space if I were to put them on the inside. Now it has sort of the same idea as those entities. I mean, that's where I got the idea from, because you can't climb up this first ladder unless you have ladders of your own to use. And then once you're up here, you're missing ladders as well everywhere. you can come up to these top levels, and then it's sort of tight to walk everywhere. Things obstructing your way, a bunch of slabs, a bunch of things just all around the place. Now I just want to get to decorating really a lot more of the exterior, and that can be but just by adding some vines in some places. I've been adding glow lichen at the very bottom over here, and the glow lichen is only where these logs just come out of the water, and I think it looked cool to have some glow lichen there. And then of course some drip leaves. We should definitely add some drip leaves. And now there are going to be drip leaves generating around in 1.19, but I want to have my own around here. And now these are just going to be a feature of the witch hut itself, and not actually of this swamp. Now another block which I might thought would suit well, I did add some drip leaves around the place, is the stripped spruce log, with which we could replace some of those oak logs, especially just around the top here is where I just wanted to do it. Not anywhere near the bottom, just the top. I think that would look quite cool, and add a tiny bit more. Yeah, from a distance you can't really see it that well. But yeah, oops. I think it looks really good. Now, I think I've done sort of many things that I wanted to do. I'm gonna decorate the outside a bit more with these vines, and also with buttons for sure. I'm definitely gonna place buttons around here. Now the dark oak buttons I think suit really well, and then we'll just have these spruce buttons. And the oak buttons are a bit too light, so I'm not going to use any of those. Now I've placed a few buttons around the place. Now what I also think might actually be a cool idea, if I were to here under the water where the witch hut is, I could change just a few of the blocks to this dripstone block to add a slight bit of texture here underwater as well. From up here it might not be that obvious, but if you go underwater, you can see that it has been textured with a bunch of dripstone. And I really like that touch. And it is something that you'll only actually notice if you approach this swimming underwater. And if you're above water, you really don't see it that well. I think that's sort of cool. Anyways, I've sort of been putting it off, and I think I should just get started building this roof and then just, see where it goes, I guess. Well, this is the roof. At least this is the shape of the roof. Now I am going to texture it still with fences here and there. Got this lantern thing on top over here. I sort of like that. Maybe I could even make it go like this as well. Does that look cool? Yeah, I like the look of that. Okay. What I need to do is I sort of need to texture this roof up. Now this roof, oh man, it was difficult to make. I need to make it look a lot better still though. Okay, so next, I think we are pretty well done with the exterior. I should add some buttons and a bit more texture onto the roof, because it's still not looking tops. Anyways, after that, I'm going to actually start working on the interior, because right now the only thing we have in the interior is this black cat and a crafting bench. And that's not a lot. Apparently witches like ladders. So, yeah. I tried to spawn a witch down here at the bottom. I've done sort of a bit of the bottom decorations. And by the way, the reason why I tamed this black cat was because I tamed it in the very beginning because I didn't want it despawning or walking away or anything like that. And it's pretty, like, it's a black cat. I'm not sure where to get one of those, and I'm too lazy to summon one with commands. So, yeah, we have this. Yeah, and why Do you like the ladders? Let's spawn in another witch. Because the second I spawned in this witch, it literally walked right towards the ladders. And this witch seems to be smart enough to walk inside the cobwebs. That's also great. Anyways, next floor. Yeah, so this floor is going to have a bit of loot, as I said. Now, I need to think really, really well about what loot I am going to use here. Also, I think that this upgraded witch hut with witches who like to climb ladders, apparently, and hide inside corners and get stuck in cobwebs. See, do you see what I mean? It just walks straight there. Why? Why? Anyways, yeah, so I think that this witch hut should be an opportunity for players to get blaze rods without having to go to the nether. Or at least blaze powder without having to go to the nether. And now, there will never be enough blaze powder here for a player to be able to skip the nether if they want to be able to make it to the end. So, I think there should just be a maximum of 2 blaze powder per maximum of 2 blaze powder per thing, if you know what I mean. Is there any way I can access this brewing stand through here? Okay, there isn't. Maximum of 2 blaze powder per thing. 1 blaze powder is going to be already in the brewing stand, so that you cannot take out. Let's place a flower pot here with a mushroom, and then there's another one over here, because who doesn't like some good mushrooms? And have a blaze powder in the chest, and why not some sugar and redstone, witch drops. And now I'm gonna look through the inventory and see if there's any other good loot which would suit this place well. What was that particle effect? I've never seen that before. No idea what that particle effect was. Anyways, here. Now I've got a bit of loot which I am going to spread out over these chests, and I'm going to explain. Well, first off, melons, because, they're melons. And now, these are you can only get those really in the jungle, and now jungles are really rare, and melons aren't too good or overpowered anyways. Well, I guess you can get them in mine shafts, but this is going to be another way to get them. I thought that these would just fit here. Well, golden nuggets. I mean, yeah, just golden nuggets. It's gold. Use them to make golden carrots, which are used for potion brewing. Then glowstone comes in as an obvious one, I think, together with the redstone and the sugar, as those are just drops that you would already get from the witches themselves, but then you can also get those through here. Some more are amethyst shards. Because you're not gonna get a lot of these here. I'm putting 3 in this chest, but it would be cool to get amethyst shards from another place and to let these be loot from somewhere, because these are really cool loot just because of the way that they look and the way that they're textured, and I think that the magical feel of the amethyst fits really well with the magic of the witches. Now I'm actually going to put in another barrel here for some more loot, and that is going to be snowballs. Now you might be confused about this one, but let me explain, okay? So in 1.19 we're getting the Deep Dark plus the Warden, and now this would be more speedrun orientated, because like maybe the Deep Dark could be a good place for a speedrunner to go to get loot, right? I don't know what loot, I don't know if it would be worth it, but these snowballs would allow you to get to the Deep Dark really easily, because these will allow you to distract the Warden, And this way you will not have to go to the very top of some sort of a mountain to collect these. I know it's a bit far-fetched, but, you know, they're snowballs, I guess. Otherwise, they're just cool loot. You can throw them at the witches. So yeah. Then slime balls. Now, yeah, these are just, you know, slime balls. I think that they fit well within the theme. And then, yes, we have it, the poisonous potatoes. Now, the reason I chose for the poisonous potato is because I think it fits well here. The poisonous potato is no use whatsoever, but I think that it fits well within the theme of the witches and things like that, and this will actually make the poisonous potato be, you know, a tiny bit more used, I guess. And I could say, why are you doing this? You're so stupid. Well, you know, shipwrecks, they have rotten flesh as loot. A bunch of places have rotten flesh as loot, or things like that. And this is just the rotten flesh of the witch hut. And then, yes, finally, we have the scutes. Now, I really like the idea of being able to get the scutes without having to actually breed turtles and go through all the effort, because all the times I've tried to obtain scutes, the baby turtles have always despawned, and I never really bothered building a big farm for this. And I think scutes are a cool thing that you could get from here. And now that's all the regular loot. And then now the third level, this is just going to be a sort of level with a few more brewing stands, maybe. And then the top floor, it's going to have a bit more loot. It's going to have potions as loot. And you might have seen this Spore Blossom on my inventory. I'm going to hang that in the roof. Now I want the roof to be also really dark. We're going to have wither roses standing around so that this place is a slight bit more dangerous. And then we're going to have a loom as a reference to that Disney movie. Is it Cinderella? I think it's Cinderella. This is a reference to that, you know, where that princess has to go with the spinning wheel, I think it is, and then she falls asleep for 100 years. I just thought it was funny to do that. And, you know, if you don't think that's funny, then, well, that's fine. I like the idea. I think it's really funny, so I'm going to do that. Now, the attic, it's sort of... It looks weird like this. I know it's not tidy at all. And I am for sure going to keep it like that. This is going to be the look of the attic. It's going to be quite dark. I want to find a way. I'm definitely going to put a door here. Wait, this is actually cool decoration. The reason that this soul sand is here is because I had to use that to put a wither rose on top of. Because you can only put wither roses on top of like soul sand and maybe one or two other blocks. Anyways, then I decided to decorate it with those chains, and I actually really like the way that looks. So this is it for the attic. I've placed cobwebs around everywhere. This is the loom with the spinning wheel. Behind that cobweb there's the barrel. This is the loot we have. So we have a few lingering potions, a bit of dragon's breath. Then we of course we have the poisonous potatoes and some tipped arrows as well. So I thought that was cool. And that's just an awkward potion. Thought that might be funny to confuse the player. It's an awkward potion, you know, it's not a water bottle, it's also not a potion that does anything. Then over here we have a brewing stand with a fermented spider eye in it, and 3 different potions. And then of course here we have the wither rose, cobwebs everywhere, and then you can break yourself through to the balcony over here. And if you want to go anywhere really, you're gonna have to get stuck inside of some cobwebs, or remove those. Ooh, witches. There we go. Ooh, would it be funny to have a witch on the balcony? I think that would. And that's 3 witches who live together in this magnificent witch hut. Now, I like this a lot. And if you do too, then that's great, because yes, there's a world download for this in the description. So if you want to see me upgrade the desert well and fail a few more jumps trying to land on here, then make sure you subscribe and like the video as well. That way I know that you guys have enjoyed. Anyways, thank you ever so much for watching, and I hope to see you again in the next one. Bye bye.